Hare Krishna, good morning dear devotees from Sridham Mayapur. Hare Krishna, good morning dear devotees from Sridham Mayapur. We still have this little funky system with a mic here, but we have something better coming. So I'll do the best I can, try to speak loud this morning. My name is Madhavananda Das. This is our kathas we've been doing. This is part 31, called Meeting in Kurukshetra. And today we're going to be speaking something about how Krishna, not to offend anybody, but he's not a brahmachari, he's a mamachari. And how Krishna's attached to his mother. Yeah? So we'll begin with a few prayers. Gora Graganya Gana Gocha Goloruharam Goranga Gudatama Gopyada Kolpa Briksham Gopalagada Ratidam Yati Singha Gora Govinda Deshi Kavadam Satatam Namami Narayanam Namaskrityam Naramschaiva Narotamam Devyam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Vede Ramayaneshchaiva Purane Bhadate Tata Adavante Chamadye Chahari Saivatra Giyate Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bangum Gayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shigurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda He Madhava Padunga Luchi Makaranda Se Makaranda Panakori Anande Bolo Hari Hari Harinka Name Vandavela Padikori Be Chakadola Se Chakadolanka Padaye Manamo Rahu Nirantare Manamo Nirantare Rahu Ha Krishna Boli Jiva Jao Ha Krishna Boli Jao Jiva Moteu Dada Radha Dava Moteu Dada Radha Dava Moteu Dada Radha Dava Dharma Projita Kaitavo Chapadamon Yamatsaranam Satam Vedyam Vastavamatta Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayon Mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamune Krite Kimva Padayashvara Sadhyo Hridjavarujyate Chakatibhishu Shushu Bistrakshanat Nigamako Pataro Gavitam Phalam Shukamukadamita Javasam Yutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamabhayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you, Sanjay. Thank you for tagging something, writing something, and I wasn't sure if it was shared for everybody or not. It's always my problem. So good morning from Sridham Mayapur, dear devotees. This is part 31 of our meeting in Kurukshetra, Katha. And today we're going to be speaking something about the relationship of Krishna and his mother. So we're reading from Gopal Champu, and we'll read a few verses, and there's one particular verse that I want to focus some on today. So this is the Uttara Kanda, the second part of Gopal Champu, chapter 10. In text 6, Jiva Goswami speaks about Krishna's words to Uddhava. Tam eva yadisu vyaktam vraje rajasi yatnata atmano pyadikam chakta brajatvam manuvehitam. He says, my dear Uddhava, amongst all the different yadus, you are very, very outstanding, and even amongst the people of Braj. He says, I've left Braj, and you're my well-wisher, so I have to speak to you. Yahi cha maya braja varta vartyate katina chitaya yasa tahi sa bhavandruta cheta hadravatanu ivra prativati. He said, whenever I hear about the news of Braj, I have such a hard heart. He says, but you, at that time, you have druta cheta. Your heart is very soft. Your heart's melting, my dear Uddhava. So you have this melted heart and this melted body. So I want to speak to you this very private thing. And what is the first thing that Krishna tells to Uddhava in his message to the residents of Vrindavan? This is not part of his message, but this is Krishna's feelings to Uddhava. Janasi tvam mama hridayamidam badatam yati bhaktya karadvayadapi jagati yata sakshini putanasti sayadeshat ajanicha janani ritir asya jananyaha prema vyaptam brajam anubhavita hritkatam mena saktam. So this is a verse that we want to speak something about today. Krishna says, Janasi Tvam, you should know. And why is he saying Janasi Tvam? Because you're going to be my messenger, so you have to be prepared. This is a school that you have to go to. First, I'm going to educate you a little bit here. Just like before you enter into the university, you have to have some certain grade level. You have to have passed certain other schools and things. So Krishna is saying, I'm going to train you something now so that you can enter into this university of Braj Prem. So Janasi Tvam, you should know. Mama Hridayam. In Krishna, the first thing he says is Mama Hridaya, my heart. Mama Hridayam idam badatam yati bhaktya. My heart, badatam yati bhaktya, it's bound up with bhakti. This is the nature of my heart. And he says that karad vairad, it means even if it's negative, karad vairad, api jagati yatasakshini putanasti, that even if it takes the form of something negative, some hatred, just like putana, he says this is the sakshi, this is the evidence that this bhakti binds me up. It's a very interesting discussion from our acharyas in the 11th chapter of the 10th canto on the prayers of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma, he glorifies Krishna as being so kind to Putana. And the question arises, what's so special about Putana? I mean, she was pretty bad. She did some pretty bad things. But she can, and she was killed by Krishna. And the Bhagavatam, the acharyas described that she got this service in Braj. She became like a datri. Prabhupada translates it sometimes like a mother, but the Acharya says she became a datri. Datri means a nurse. She became like a mother to Krishna. But then a question arises, what about Bakasura and Agasura? They didn't get service to Krishna. They only got Kaivalya Mukti. So why is it that Putana got this liberation and they didn't? Well, the first question is, why did Bakasura and Agasura get liberation? Our Acharya said, because they're the younger brothers of Putana. And why did Putana get this liberation, this special liberation? Well, because Putana dressed up like a mother. She dressed up like a devotee. And even it's an interesting thing to me, in Krishna book, it said that when Putana entered into Braj, all the men, immediately they were looking at her, wow. She's a hot babe. That's what it says. That's what, more or less, he doesn't say hot babe. But more or less, that's what Prabhupada says in Krishna book, that they were all appreciating the beauty of Putana. And I found that very striking, very interesting comment. What it means is, because there's no question of lust for them, there's no question of anything negative, but it's not wrong to appreciate that a woman is beautiful. That's their asset. Women should be beautiful. It's okay. Sometimes in our society, if a woman is beautiful, then she's a Maya Devi. They're bad. She's not a Maya Devi, but you're Maya. You have this consciousness. You're seeing like this. So there's nothing wrong. So Putana, because she dressed up like a devotee, it said that Agasura and Bakasura, because she's her sister, and she got this liberation, because she was dressed like a devotee, therefore they got liberation also. But then the question comes, why did they only get Kaivalya Mukti, and they didn't get Nitya Seva? There's a difference. And our acharyas describe, because Putana dressed up like a devotee, and Agasura and Bakasura didn't dress up like devotees. So now the $64,000 question for Krishna West devotees and others who are very concerned about this. How did Putana dress? It doesn't say. But definitely she was wearing something which was devotional. It doesn't say she was wearing a sari. If Brajabanita is watching this, it's okay. She wasn't wearing a sari. Maybe not. But she was dressed some way consciously to appear like a devotee. Maybe she's just wearing tilak and kuntimal. It's not said. But Krishna says to Uddhava, Karad varad api jagati yata sakshini putanasti, that I'm bound up by this bhakti, and the evidence is Putana. Sayad Vesha, she dressed her up in this Vesh. Ajani chajanini ritta asha janaya. She dressed up and acted like my mother. And therefore I accepted that. Such a wonderful thing it is to dress up like a devotee. It's beneficial. And it's not that we have to do this. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Chaitanya Siksamrita, he says that to think that the dress of a devotee, and he mentions even the tilak and kunti mala, which are very important aspects of bhakti according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Raghuratna Chandrika. It's something important for Raghunuga Bhakti, to wear tilak and to wear kunti mala. He says, but to think that kunti mala and that tilak, or the dress of devotee, is a symptom of a devotee, he said that's a kind of prejudice. And that kind of prejudice leads to sectarianism. Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself, he was a high court magistrate, and he wasn't wearing Vaishnava dress every day when he was going to the court. He was dressed in a certain way. We shouldn't be so shallow, but at the same time, it's very nice if someone dresses like a devotee. And Prabhupada appreciated that. I like to wear a dhoti just because I know Prabhupada liked it, and my Guru Maharaj liked it, and they appreciate it. But I'm not thinking that someone has to do that. And then Krishna tells Uddhava, Prema vyaptam braja anubhavita ritkatam mena saktam. This is the main line that we want to speak about today in our discussion. He says this, how is it that my mind couldn't be attracted to Braj, which is permeated with the Shakti, this Shakti of my mother. It's permeated with, it has a fragrance everywhere in Vrindavan of the love of my mother. I'm bound up by that love. Now most people in this world, they're bound up by love in a different kind of way. And in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, in the 14th chapter, Lord Brahma, he prays to Krishna, Tavad Ragadeya, Stenas Tavat Kara Griham Griham. Tavan moho angri nigadot yavat Krishna nate jana. He says that, oh Krishna, as long as people are not your devotees, then their desires are thieves, their homes are prisons, and their love for others are shackles which bind their feet. So even as devotees, oftentimes we were speaking about this yesterday with Anna Pine, that sometimes as devotees we understand that, oh, I'm going to get married, and it's an ashram, and I have to behave nicely, and I should chant Hare Krishna in the ashram and do like that. And we have all the, I mean, it's going to be different. It's going to be like, we're going to be like Premi Bhaktas. We're going to be really, really advanced. But I compared it just like a rubber band. You take a rubber band and you stretch it out. But then when you let go, it goes back to its natural situation. So in a similar way, we try sometimes to pretend that we're not, something that we're not. We try to act like devotees, like Putana. But then what happens is it comes back, and we come back to our natural form, our mode of nature. And we're angry, and we expect certain things from the relationship. And those kind of relationships, they're binding, and they're problematic. And that's why we don't see so much wonderful relationships in our society. It's a sad thing. In his Govinda Lilamrita, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami gives a very beautiful poetic verse. Such a nice verse. Listen to this. This describes how Krishna is a thief. So here he's describing how Krishna is bound up with this bhakti. This bhakti captures the heart of Krishna. In Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says, Gokular Gokulam Ninye Gokulam Gokular Haran Gokulam Gokulastrinam Gokular Gokuleshvara. He speaks a lot about Gokul. Every line is speaking about Gokul. The Lord of Gokul drove his cows. Gokul also means to drive the cows. As he entered Gokul, at the same time he was stealing the senses. Gokul also means to steal the senses. Go means the senses of the young girls of Gokul and the eyes of the people of Gokul. So this is the nature of Krishna. When Krishna wants to give this message to Uddhava, the first thing is something from the heart. Actually, the first thing is that he tells Uddhava, Janasi Tvam, you should know. You should understand this. But then he begins to speak about his emotions. So in a similar way, when we come to this movement, there's some education. Sometimes we attend the Bhakti program, or we have Bhakti Shastri, or we have the daily Bhagavatam class. And sometimes we don't really understand the purpose of that. So here Krishna says, Janasi Tvam, you should know. We should know something. But sometimes, because we're coming from, we were going to the university in St. Petersburg, and we were very good in our studies. And we're thinking that, yes, I know how to study. And I know the system of memorization, and I know how to collect information. I'm a very good student. Some of my friends who are teachers at the MI and the VIHE in Vrindavan have complained to me many times that now there's a category of students who are attending who are professional students. And they know how to memorize things, and they know how to get good grades. But they don't really understand anything we're giving. And so this is the message, one of the messages in this verse today. Well, Krishna says, Janasi Tvam, you should understand. But that understanding is going to go somewhat deeper. It has to be an understanding of bhakti. So in the beginning, we have this rather perhaps mechanical understanding, not because the teachers are bad, not because the system is bad, but because we're bad. Because our heart is a barren field. But still, we need to understand something about it. And we're going out and we're doing book distribution, we're doing many things, maybe in a mechanical kind of way. But still, we do it. And like Putana, dressing up in a particular costume, Prabhupada once told some of the devotees in Australia, don't think that you're devotees. He said, rather, you're just like an actor on the stage who's dressing up. But there's a benefit to that, because then you get in the mood. I used to do some drama before when I was in high school. And when you get in the mood of that character, it increases your consciousness something. You're changing your consciousness. You're forgetting about yourself and you're adopting something else. That's the nature of drama. And the best drama, of course, is devotional drama of bhakti. So we're learning something in that way. So what is the difference between Vasudeva and Devaki's love for Krishna and Nanda and Yashoda's love? In the Bhagavatam, it says that Krishna was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki. But Jiva Goswami in Gopal Champu gives a different description about how Krishna appeared in the womb of Mother Yashoda, because actually Krishna was born. He's directly the son of Yashoda. That's a very big topic. I won't go in that direction now. But there's proof positive. The proof positive is Srimad Bhagavatam says that the umbilical cord was cut from baby Krishna to Mother Yashoda. The same thing is said in the Brahma Vivarta Purana and Vishnu Purana and other places. Krishna appeared twice at the same time. His Vishnu expansion, as Vasudeva, appeared in the prison of Kamsa, while he directly appeared as a son of Mother Yashoda. And that's a big topic. But it said that Krishna, Braja Raja Hridaya Nija Hridayam Pravishya, Jiva Goswami says, that Krishna was transferred from the heart of Nanda Maharaj to the heart of Mother Yashoda. So there's a difference. Krishna was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki, indicating something that in Mathura there's Gyan and Aishvarya. Everything is ruled by knowledge and opulence. But in Braj, everything's ruled by the heart. And that's how Krishna appeared there. So today I'd like to speak some things to you, and we have a song we'd like to sing also. We'd like to say some things to you about the very amazing relationship that Krishna has with Mother Yashoda. And we'll look back a little bit in the Purva Champu, the first section of Gopal Champu. This is from chapter 2, where one day Krishna went to his mother's room and he said, Matar, oh Mata, mother, Matinam Sambalanartam Anu Yatrin Asman Anu Manyashva. He said, Mata, I'm going to go with the boys today. We're going to go to work. I have a job. The boy's very proud. When I was about 8 years old, I got my first job delivering newspapers, riding on a bicycle, and I was very proud myself. Now I'm making money. I'm doing something. Krishna was feeling very proud. And he said, Then at that time, Mother Yashoda, she replied to Krishna. Jiva Goswami describes her, Mata cha kshara kira kula kucha mukulam alalapa. Kira means milk. And when Mother Yashoda, she turned to Krishna, milk just started pouring from her breasts. This is the love of Mother Yashoda. He's a grown-up boy at that time, but milk is pouring from her breasts. And she says, Ayushmam yusmad eka prana vayam tasmana vilambaniyam. She said, my dear Krishna, she said, you're my life. Ayushmam. Eka prana vaya, you're the only life of my life. So, na vilambaniyam, you don't be gone for very long. And then all the women, the elderly ladies who were there at that time, they began to cry. Jiva Goswami says. And they told that Krishna, they said that you're saying the cows are your mother. Because Krishna said, Mata, I have to go and serve the cows. Cows are our mother. And those ladies, they didn't appreciate that so much. Doesn't mean they're not Hindus, okay? They're bona fide Hindus. Hindus really like cows a lot. They also appreciate the cows like anything. But they told Krishna, Krishna's mother Yashoda, she's your actual mother. You should show some special favor to you. You're calling the cows your mother, but that's just a name. But actually, you should, of course, the cows are also Krishna's mother. Indirectly, during Brahma Mohana Leela, Krishna wanted to be, he saw, he understood that all the cows wanted to have Krishna as their son. All the ladies wanted to have Krishna as their son. So Krishna then expanded himself in the form of all the calves. and all the calves and all the boys, so that those ladies and cows could have that experience of being a mother of Krishna. They're directly the mother of Krishna, but still, Mother Yashoda, she has a pradhan. She's a pradhan mata. She's the original mother. She has a very special position. So at that time, Jiva Goswami says, Sachanata vadana sasya smita vacham uvacha. Krishna at that time, he kind of lowered his head and he looked a little off to the side. And Jiva Goswami says, smita vacham, that Krishna smiled. Now, why does he mention this? He doesn't explain. Why is he mentioning that Krishna smiled? Because in the next line it says that Krishna began to cry also. He's smiling, but he's crying at the same time. What does it mean? Krishna must be smiling at the boys because they want to go and they're waiting. Come on, we got to go. And there's Krishna with Mother Yashoda, and it's like, he has to deal with his mother, right? And so he's smiling at the boys. Look, I gotta speak to her in a certain way. He's smiling at the boys while he speaks to his mother. And at that time, Mataram Kim Kuramaha, Krishna says, Mother, what shall we do? Tasteu Pashu Jatayo. These are Pashu, these are animals. Navivekam, they don't have any intelligence. And Ekam api labante yato mam vina trinam api not trinvanti. If they don't see us, then vina trinam, we say trinadapi sunichina. Trina means grass. If they don't see us, then they won't eat the grass. We have to go. Because if we don't go, all the cows are going to go on strike. And they're going to refuse to eat anything. This is what happens. So then, Matovacha, Mother Yashoda, she replies, she says to those ladies, Samyag aha vatsa yato dharma evasmakam mama bedi babuva. She says, what he's saying, what my vatsa, my calf is saying, vatsa means calf, my calf is saying, it's true. She says, but because of his following all this dharma, of taking care of the cows, it's caused us great pain. It's not a good thing. And she says, Yesham danani tanayascha sada vanani nilayan kuvanti. Our sons, whose real wealth is the cows. Yesham danani. Danani means a wealth. Their wealth is the cows. They've made the forest their constant home. And so we don't get to spend time with them. It's very bad. And so indirectly, the Mother Yashoda is saying the forest is a very dangerous place. Not good. Krishna sahasam mahasma. Krishna smiled. And he said, Mata ratavane, nako pi trasha. Trasha means fear. Mother, don't be afraid about the forest. Satu samulakasham. Kasitanam keshi prabhitinam sangata eva gatta. That fear has been destroyed because Keshi and all these other demons, they've all been uprooted, they've all been killed. And Mother Yashoda is not very satisfied with Krishna's words because she's a mother. She's afraid. She's always worried about my little boy, my daughter. Who is she associating with? This guy is a creepy guy. I don't trust him. Those are what mothers are. You can't blame them. So Matovacha, Mother Yashoda, then she says, Tari kim akaranyate yadatyapi kinchitesham odatyam vidyate pretanam api tada karataya sadya pretatam praptanam eva. She uses the word preta twice. And Mother Yashoda says that how we've heard even now that the demons have become very bold. They've taken the form of pretas. They become ghosts. Okay, Krishna, you killed Bakasura and Agasura and all these demons, but I think they're still there in the form of ghosts. It's not good. You can't go to the forest. And Krishna's rolling his eyes in his head, looking at his friends. Krishna sahasam ahasma. Krishna smiles again at his friends. And he says, Matar, nate preta jatitama vyaptaha. They've not become ghosts. He said, Kintu, rather, Kintu, Bhavachana Renogana, Gunitabumim Anumarana, Patapavargad Apavargam Eva Gattaha. Rather, they've become, he says, they've become Renogana, they've become dust. And that dust is serving your lotus feet. They become the dust which is serving your lotus feet. And after Marana, after they die, Anumarana, following that death, Pratipavargad Apavargame Vigata, they died in Vrindavan. So they got liberation, and now they got to do some service because they became dust for you. So there's a nice song I'd like to sing. I don't have you on WhatsApp, I don't think. I would have sent you the song. Do I have you on WhatsApp? I do, I'm sorry. Lalita Kunmataji is right next to me. If you're really nice and you don't like pincher or something rude, then maybe she'll let you look on the song at the same time. And you can share with a few different devotees. Okay? So these are two Leela Kirtan songs. The first is by Vipradas Ghosh. Vipradas Ghosh was living near Ranihat, and he's some people say he's the creator of the Ranihati style of Kirtan. We don't know much about him, but there's a wonderful songbook I've got at home. It's 2 volumes. Each volume is this fat. It's all in Bengali. It's called Padakalpataru. It was written in the 1800s. And that Padakalpataru by Gokulananda Sen. And this song is included in there. He's included many, many wonderful songs. So this song speaks about the words of Krishna to his mother when they're going to herd the cows. Okay? This is a Bengali folk tune. Krishna says, Ogo ma aji ami chara baba chora paraiya deha. Sorry, let me do it again. Ogo ma aji ami chara baba chora. Ogo ma aji ami chara. Paraiya deha dada mancha pari banda chuda charanete parahanu pura bolo. Paraiya deha dada mancha pari banda chuda charanete parahanu pura. Alakati laka pole manamala deha gale shinga Vechavenu hate Alakati laka hale manamala deha gale Shinga vechavenu hate Ogoma Amichara Baba Chura Ogoma Amichara Ogoma, Krishna says, oh mother, Aji Ami Chara Babachura, today I'm going to go take care of the bachura, the calves. So Paraiya Deha Dada, you should dress me up in a nice way because I'm going to go with the boys. And you know what happens with the boys? If you're dressed in a way that's not very nice and they start teasing you, making fun of you, they do that to Krishna. So you have to, you put my hair, manta pari banda chuda, you tie up my hair, and the chuda, a knot on the head, and you chant some mantras over it, because I know, Mother, you like to chant mantras a lot over me. You're always worried about me, so you can chant your mantras over my hair. And then charanete paraha nupur. You put some nupura, some ankle bells on my feet. Men also wear ankle bells sometimes in Vedic culture. In Krishna, it's very important for him to have those ankle bells because sometimes he dances with the boys, and sometimes, actually every day, around noontime, he tells the boys, I think I'm going to go with Madhu Mangal just for a short walk. We'll be back in a little bit. And then Krishna sneaks off to Radhakund or Surya Kund to see the gopis, and those ankle bells come in handy in another kind of way at that time. So it's a very important part of paraphernalia. And then Krishna, he tells his mother, Alaka tilaka bali. You put some nice balo tilak on my forehead. Mana mala deha gali. Put a garland around me, on my neck, because I know this will make you very happy. Then singa veta venu hate. Then you give me a singa. Singa means a horn, because I need this buffalo horn to call the cows. Veta venu hate. Give me a veta, give me a stick. Because that stick is very important too. Our acharyas have said that Krishna carries a stick. It's described in the Bhagavatam, but he never uses it. Sometimes he shows it to the cows, but he doesn't ever touch the cows with it because Krishna has another way of dealing with the cows. And this is his weapon with the cows, the venu, the flute. And Krishna calls all the different cows with his flute. And saying that Mother Yashoda is still feeling afraid, Krishna addresses her in this way. Shridama Sudama Dhamma Subaladi Balarama Sabaida Dara Jopate. Shridama Sudama Dhamma Subaladi Balarama Sabaida Dara Jopate. Vishala Arjuna Jana Kinkini Amsumana Sajiya Sabai Goshe Jai. Vishala Arjuna Jana Kinkini Amsumana Sajiya Sabai Goshe Jai. Krishna's speaking to his mother, and meanwhile all the boys are outside, and they're like, come on, Krishna, and we thought you were a tough guy. See, you're controlled by your mother. And so Krishna's telling his mother, Sridama, Sudama, Dhamma, Subaladi, Balarama, the Sridam, Sudam, Dhamma, Subal, etc., Subaladi, Balaram, they're all out, Sabai, Dhari, Rajapati, they're all standing and waiting for him in the Rajapati on the royal road. Vishal, Arjuna, Jana, the Vishal is there, Arjuna is there. There are several different Arjuns. There's Arjuna Gopi. The Gopi by name of Arjun is also the Saka named Arjun, and there's the Pancha Pandava Arjun. At least 3 different Arjuns. Kinkini Angsomani is Kinkini Angsoman, my good friends. They're all dressed, they're all waiting out there for me. Yaya means to go. Goshte Jai, they all want to go to herd the cows. Gopalera Katha Suni Sajala Nayani Rani Achitani Dharani Lotai Bolo. Gopalera Katha Suni Sajala Nayani Rani Achitani Dharani Lotai. Chanchala Bahuri Sani Kimoni Dahi Bevani Komala Dukani Rangapai. Pradasha Goshe Bole, Bayase Goshe Gile, Pranaki Darite Parimaya. Pradasha Goshe Bole, Bayase Goshe Gile, Pranaki Darite Parimaya. Sorry, there's a mistake in the Bengali. It should say Goshte Gile, not just Gote. Gopalera Katha Shuni. So when Mother Yashoda heard this Katha, Shuni means to hear from her Gopal, then Sajala Noyana Rani. She began to cry and cry. And Achetana Dharani Lotai, she became a Chetana. She fell down on the ground unconscious. And the author of the song, Vipradas, he says, Chanchala Bahura Sani Kemodadai Bivani Komala Dukani Rangapai. How can those soft feet of Krishna, how can they keep up with the calves in the forest. It's not good. Huh? Vipradas says, Vipradasa Goshe Bola. He says, Evayasa Goshe Gali Prana Ki Darite Parimaya. How can mother tolerate this if you go to herd the cows at such a young age? So, in the same Padakalpataru, there's another song by another devotee named Yadavendra Das. He was a Gaudiya Vaishnav who was living in the first part of the 18th century. And he was living in Harispur in the Birbhum district of West Bengal. And he wrote a number of different songs, all of which are about Krishna's Gosha Leela, Krishna's taking care of the cows. So this is Krishna's reply. This is Mother Yashoda's reply to Krishna. We heard what Krishna said to Mother Yashoda. And now Yadavendra Das, he gives the reply from Mother Yashoda back to Krishna. Amara sapati lage nagaiya dinu age paranera paranamani. Amara sapati lage nagaiya dinu age paranera paranamani. Nikate raki adinu puriha mohana vinu ghare pashi ami jena shuni. Nikate raki Mother Yashoda said, Amara Shapati Lagi, you're my dark jewel. Nada, you're the life of my life. So you have to promise me, you're not going to run in front of the cows. Because if you go in front of the cows, they may step on you or something. It's very terrible. And Nikate Raki Hadenu, you stay nearby. These cows should stay near you while you're playing on your Mohana Venu, while you're playing on your flute. And in that way, I'll be able to hear your flute nearby. You stay close by. Mother Yashoda is telling us to Krishna, don't go very far away. I want to be able to hear your flute. Then I'll know everything is okay. Mother Yashoda says, hey, Balai dai be age ara sishu bama bage Sri Nama Sudama Sabapache. Balai dai be age ara sishu bama bage Sri Nama Sudama Sabapache. Tumi tara majidaya sangachada nahaya mate bada riputaya ache. Tumi tara He says, Mother Yashoda is giving certain rules for Krishna. He said, okay, you can go, but Balaram has to go in front of you. And then you should have Adasishu Bhama Bhagi. You should have some boys on either side of you, some boys on the right, some boys on the left. Sridama, Subhama. They should stand behind you. And you stay amidst all of them, and you don't leave those boys. These are your bodyguards. Then I'll feel happy, I'll feel peaceful. Shuddha hoile lai kaya patabane chayayata adisoyatina kurapate. Shuddha hoile lai kaya. Hare bole bado denu piraite naje kanu haka tuli dehamura mate. Hare bole bado denu piraite naje kanu haka tuli dehamura mate. Mother Yashoda says, because the forest, the pasturing place you go, is full of all kinds of dangers. And you have to promise me you can go, but Kaya means to eat. In Bengali, they eat everything. You word kaya for, I'm going to go kaya bidi. I'm going to go smoke. I'm going to eat a bidi. I'm going to kaya pani. I'm going to eat water. They eat everything. It's the same word for everything. So Mother Yashoda says, Krishna's not smoking bidis. But if you become hungry while you're out there, you have to eat. And you be careful where you're stepping, because there's so many thorns and things out there. It's very, very dangerous. And Mother Yashoda says, hey, Kanu, you have to promise me. I'm going to put my hand on your head, and you have to make a promise to me, Kanu, that you're not going to agree. Also, you have to promise this thing, that Karu Bhole Bharudenu, if there's a big cow, you're not going to try to take care of it. Even if someone asks you to take care of the big cow, you stay away from the big cows. Those cows are dangerous. And you should listen. This is the words of your mother. You listen to your mother. You be a good boy. Taki hatarura chai hinata kaiche maya ravi dena nalagai gai. Taki hatarura chai hinata kaiche maya ravi dena nalagai gai. Yada vindra sange laha bhadda panai hate laha bujiya jagave langa pai. Yada vindra sange Takiha Charura Chaya. Chaya means a shadow. Krishna, you don't stand in the sun. You have to stay in the shade. She's giving him so many different instructions. This is a typical mother. Typical mother. You stay in the shade. And you take, she says, the poet says to Mother Yashoda says to baby Krishna, you take Yadavendra Das with you. Yadavendra Das is the author of this song. Take him with you. And because he has a very important job. Because Krishna, you have to have shoes, because there's thorns and things in the road. So Yadavendra, he'll carry your shoes. The author of the poem. And you can put them on when you feel like it's necessary. So Krishna has such a wonderful relationship with Mother Yashoda. I'd like to turn now to a wonderful book called Sankalpa Kalpataru, which is written by Jiva Goswami. It's also known as Sankalpa Kalpa Briksha. And there's another book, Sankalpa Kalpa Druma, written by Vishwanath. Don't be confused with that. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta quotes from this book sometimes. And this book is kind of a synopsis, a short synopsis of his much harder book, which is Gopal Champa, which we've been speaking from today. So there he speaks about how Krishna goes to the forest. We're speaking about the herd the cows. And Mother Yashoda, she dresses him up very, very nice. And Jiva Goswami says that Mother Yashoda puts some of the ornaments on him from his father, from Nanda Maharaj. It's very, very sweet. Because Krishna now, he's a big boy. I'm going out to herd the cows, and you have to give me some. So Mother said, yes, I'm putting. But Mother Yashoda is doing that. She's thinking maybe these things will protect my boy. And so she dressed Krishna up so very, very nicely. And then Mother Yashoda is just looking at him. And looking at him, then Mother Yashoda begins to cry, and the milk from her breast begins flowing. And then she takes a peacock feather and a flute, a jeweled flute, and a golden stick. Krishna's stick's not an ordinary stick. And he hands those things to Krishna. And every day when Krishna was about to go to the forest, then Mother Yashoda, she would offer different things. She would do some puja every day. She would take some coon, some pot, and some banana tree there. She'd put a lamp. She'd offer some arti to protect my boy when he goes out there. She's doing so many things. And meanwhile, Krishna's there, and the boys are saying, come on, what are you doing? We got to go. Come on. Everybody's waiting. We got to play. And Krishna's looking back and forth between his mother and the boys. And the boys are rolling their eyes in the head. Come on, you're just attached to your mother. And as we say sometimes, Krishna's not actually a brahmachari. Krishna's a mamachari. He's very, very much attached to his mother. And no doubt the boys are teasing him like this. Krishna, we thought you were a tough brahmachari like one of us, but we see you're just a mamachari. You're just attached to your mother. And Mother Yashoda, she's crying, and the milk is coming from her breast. And then Mother Yashoda says, today, Krishna, I'll go with you. I'll go with you to the forest. Huh? Huh? I'll cook your lunch and I'll carry your lunch for you while it's still hot. Huh? And then Krishna's looking at the boys, and the boys are like, no. Right? You don't want to go. You're going to go. You tell your friends want to go and like have a party, on the bank of the Ganga, and they're going to have some wrestling matches, and you're going to like have some prasadam and have a good time. And you say, by the way, I'm going to bring my mother with me. The boys are going, what do you mean, bring your mother with you? Forget it, no way. And Madhu Mangal's looking at Krishna like, Krishna, I know what you do during the day. Madhu Mangal's a Priyananda Saka. You want to go see the gopis, it's not going to work if you bring your mother with you. As we sometimes tell devotees, a little marriage tip. If you get married, after you're married, you go for a honeymoon, very romantic honeymoon, it's very nice. Don't bring your mother with you. Your wife won't appreciate that. She won't understand. So Krishna was looking really nervous, embarrassed. And Mother Yashoda said, why you look so nervous and embarrassed? Don't worry about it. Rohini's going to stay behind. She can take care of the house. And then Krishna's looking really, and Mother Yashoda said, okay, Rohini can go with you. And I'll stay home. But somebody's got to go with you. Day after day, you're going out in the forest, and we're staying back here. Don't feel bad. We're not afraid. We're not afraid to go to the forest with you, and we're not embarrassed. Krishna's smiling. Yeah. And Balaram at that time, he's very, very expert. He knows how to fix things up. Balaram smiled a little bit for Krishna and the boys, and a tear came down his face. And he bowed his head, and he spoke in a very gentle way. And he said, Mother, he said, you and Bappa, you and Father, if you become young and fit again, now you're old, you're an old woman, old man, if you became young, then it would be okay. But you're old, so you have to stay behind, and you let us go and do this. And anyway, taking care of the cows, that's just an excuse. The real thing is we want to go to the forest, because we go to the forest and we play. And when we go there, what do? We eat the lunch that you packed. That's very important. Don't be nervous about it. We're definitely going to eat the lunch that you packed. And we also, there's plenty of there's fruits all over the trees, and they're so sweet like nectar. So, and I'm going to the forest, personally, Balaram says, to kill the demons. So you don't worry, Krishna's got a bodyguard, and I have a very good bodyguard. So why should you be afraid? And while I'm fighting with the demons, the cows, they eat the grass, and they just wait for me. They don't run away or anything. They're very, very nice. Those cows, he said, they're very saintly cows. They're very, very peaceful at heart. And so at that time, all the ladies, because everyone was gathered there in Vrindavan, not just Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, but everyone in Vrindavan, they were all gathered there together to see Krishna and the boys off. And then the ladies, the tears were coming from their eyes, and they turned to Mother Yashoda. And they said, it's very auspicious you're doing your daily duties. That's the best thing for you. You should go home, and you take care of, you churn some butter and things. You can sing some songs about Krishna. You'll feel some separation, but you can make something nice for him while he's gone. And then those ladies, they gave some blessings to Krishna. And then Mother Yashoda began to hug Krishna, and Krishna and the boys started going, and Mother Yashoda started following. And Krishna said, Ma, please. The boys are looking at Krishna like, you got to do something, she can't come with you. And so Mother Yashoda, again and again, she would touch Krishna and caress him in different ways. And finally, Krishna left, and Mother Yashoda went back to her house. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes a similar thing in his Krishna Bhavanamrita. A very beautiful verse he describes what Krishna's thinking to himself when he went to the forest. Madvicheda rujo nubhava kamaho cheta priyanam atas tanitva nija sangha eva vipinam yamiti yate haro konashad vishayo Ityanunayus Tesham driso veshma tu svasva vashma bir eva sanskriti vasan mukto pamaste vishan. While Krishna was going to the forest, he was thinking to himself, Mad vicheda rujo, they're all feeling this vicheda, this separation from me. They're feeling very, very sad. When I leave, so I should take their minds along with me. And so Krishna took the minds of all the Brijbasis with him. But when Krishna took the minds of the Brijbasis with him, then their bodies were just standing there like statues. And the eyes of the Brijbasis, they thought to themselves, we don't have anything better to see than Krishna. So the eyes also followed along with Krishna. Their eyes went with Krishna, and their minds went with Krishna. Swasvavashma bir eva sanskriti vasan mukta pamaste vishan. So those Brijbasis who were very Sanskriti, very high-class persons, they entered their homes mukta pamas, like liberated souls that maintained the bodies just by some external custom. Their eyes couldn't see anything then. All they could see is Krishna. Their eyes are with Krishna. Couldn't see anything other than Krishna, or they could only see Krishna wherever they were. And their minds went with Krishna. So, in this verse today, Krishna is telling Uddhava about the nature of the love of Braj and how extraordinary it is. And he says, in Braj, everything smells like my mother. Her love is permeating everything in Braj. Her cooking is permeating everything in Braj. And Hari Bhakti Surodoya. The Lord Nrsimhadev tells Prahlad, Sada muktopi badhosmi bhaktena sneharajyabi jitopi jito aham tayavasapi vasikritam. He says, everybody calls me Mukunda, I give liberation, but I'll tell you something, the truth. Sada muktopi, although I'm always liberated, badhosmi, I become bound up by the rope of love of my devotees. And I can't do anything without my devotees. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there's a conversation with Narad Muni, and Narad, he says that don't think that the Brijbasis are bewildered by Krishna. It's not the fact. If you think like that, you're wrong. It's not that the Brijbasis are bewildered by Krishna. And he says, Krishnena na braja jana kila mohitaste tai savya mohi bhagavan iti satyam eva gatva mayaiva sahin vishmita deva karyo nusmarita kimapi kritya maho katanchit. He says that's not the truth. Krishnena na braja jana kila mohitasta. It's not that the people of Braj were bewildered by Krishna. Rather, Tai Savya Mohi Bhagavaniti Satyam. The truth is that Krishna was bewildered by them. That's the prominent feature of Braj. Some people say the Brijbasis are bewildered by Krishna. Narad Muni is saying that may be true, it may not be true, but actually in general it's not true. The strongest thing is Krishna becomes completely bewildered by them. Gatva Mayaiva Sahi Vishmita Deva Karya, because he was bewildered, Vishmita. I had to come and remind him, Krishna, remember Bhagavad Gita, that you have to come and Paritanaya Sadhanam Vinashaya to do Skritam Dharma Samstarpanartaya. You're God, you have to come and do this work. When he said, I had to go and remind him, because he's so bewildered by Mother Yashoda that he's completely forgotten everything. In Lalita Madhav, there's a question raised. Someone asked Krishna, how is it that you freed Nalakuvera and Manigriva from their form of trees? That's a pretty big thing. And as we've commented, they became Madhukanta and Snigdhakanta. They became the two speakers of Krishna Katha in the Gopal Champu. And they began to narrate all because they saw everything in the form of trees. Now how is it, the question's raised, that you delivered them from their form of trees, but they didn't come and untie your ropes? I mean, it's a little polite, wouldn't it be? I mean, Krishna's tied up with ropes to the wooden grinding mortar, and he frees them from their form of trees, and they just said, thanks a lot, dude, we're on our way now, right, goodbye. That's not very nice. Why didn't they untie him? And Krishna replied to that. Vatsalya vandala mayena mamoru damna yakopi bandagari maniramayi matra tanmuktaye paramabanda vimokshanopi naham shame saki parashyatu kakatatra. Krishna said, those were not ordinary ropes. Those are the ropes of my mother's love. And he said, Yakopi bandagari maniramayi matra. These are the ropes of my mother. Tanmuktaye paramabanda vimokshanopi. Although I can give liberation to everyone. Naham shame saki parashyatu kakatatra. I have no power to untie those ropes. And what to speak of other people. So don't think that Krishna is a brahmachari. Krishna is a mamachari. He's so attached to his mother. And as soon as he starts thinking about his mother and he's speaking to Uddhava, immediately he begins to cry. In the Lalita Madhav, in the 5th act, when it's describing how Krishna went to rescue Rukmini, they were trying to arrange a marriage for her with Shishupal. You think you have a bad husband, you have a problem with your husband. Shishupal would be a very bad husband, very, very difficult. So at that time, Krishna picked up Rukmini and put her on the chariot. And then all these armies, there were millions, literally millions of soldiers there, and the most powerful kings on the planet. And they went to attack Krishna. And it was a very dramatic thing. Prabhupada says at that time, Rukmini took the reins of the chariot. She started driving the chariot. And then Krishna, very fearlessly, he picked up his conch shell. And he blew the conch shell very loud. Okay, now you guys are in big trouble. And Rupa Goswami says a very beautiful thing, which helps us to understand that scene of that great battlefield, that scene of great heroism, Krishna remembered his mother. Kada yugalena grihitam nidaya vadam buje dhamam kambum brajarajni stanapana smananistimito harir jayati. He says that all glories to Krishna, who when he took that conch shell in his hands and put it to his mouth, he remembered his mother's breast and how he used to suck from the breast of Mother Yashoda. And at that time, Krishna became stunned in ecstasy, although all these great, powerful warriors were all around him. So am I correct or not? Krishna is a mamachari. This is a proof. He's so very, very attached to his mother. And therefore, Rupa Goswami and his Radha Krishna Ganesh Deepika, he says, Mata Gopa Yashoda Datri Yashoda Shamala Dyuti Mutta Vatsalya Tabe So Shakra Chapa Nibambara. That because, this is the meaning of Yashoda, because she gives da means to give, yasha means fame. Because she, you say Yasha Vardhana, someone who maintains fame. Vardhana means to maintain. Yashovardhana is a beautiful bull, our friend named Yashovardhana. He maintains that fame. Mother Yashoda means the one who gives fame. So she's called Yashoda. And she's Murta Vatsalya Tavaiso. She's the embodiment of parental love. She's Nikhila Vishvara Mata Swarup. She's a mother of the universe. I know we've gone a little late, but I just want to touch on a couple more verses here. There's a little purport for us. Because we want to understand how important it is, your mother. Mothers are very, very, very important. And you may say, well, anyway, that's just Varnashram Dharma or whatever, that's some secondary thing. But in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Vyasadeva is described, Matar ityeva sambena yamcha sambasate narasa mati tuya satyena dharma sakshi satamapi. That if you address some lady, oh, excuse me, Mataji. Now you may think, Mataji is like a second-class citizen. And in the feast, okay, all the Prabhus sit over here, and the Matajis go there. We don't want to see the Matajis. But if you address someone as Mata, as mother, then it's said here that Dharma personified, here's it, Dharma personified also means Yamaraj. And that lady, Samati Tulya Satyena, in truth, that lady becomes your mother by addressing her as Mataji. Now, why is this? let's turn to Radha Krishna. In the Narada Pancharatra, it's described. Ado samuchared radham paschat krishnam chamadavam viparitam yadi patet brahma hatyam labed dhruvam. Why is it that we say Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhav? Why do you put Radharani's name first? Krishna's God, I mean, at least he should get some respect, right? Why don't we put his name first? This is a question. Yeah? It says, no, first we say the name Radha, and then we say Krishna or Madhav. Viparitam, if you do the opposite of that, then yadi patet, yadi, if you do that, yadi means if, then Brahma hachim labed dhruvam, you get the result of killing a Brahma. I don't know exactly how that works, but that's what it said in Narada Pancharatra. And it goes on to explain why. Shri Krishna jagatam tato jagan mata charadika pitu sadguno mata vanya puja gariyasi. Because Krishna is the father of the world, Radharani is the mother. And the mother is 100 times more worshipable and higher in point of respect due than the father. This is our Vedic culture. Mata in Sanskrit means mother, but mata also means someone who's worshipable. The mother is worshipable. The mother is more worshipable than the father. And therefore, in Manasanghita, it said, Pitri bir bhrakti bischaita pati bir deva raistata puja busayuta briktas cha bahu kalyanam ipsubi. That if you want your own kalyana, your own auspiciousness, then you should do certain things for your wife. William, you should pay attention to this. Right? Govinda, we're saying some things on your behalf today. Okay? Prabhuji, you also pay attention. This is important. Seriously. It said that women should be, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, they should be given honor, they should be given respect by the men. And it says particularly by fathers, brothers, husbands, and brothers-in-law. And how do you give that honor? You should give them ornaments. Earrings, rings, and some nice ornaments. That's how you respect them. Yatra naryastu pujante ramante tatra devataha yatraitastu na pujante sarvas tatra phala kriyaha. This is a very deep verse. It may have something to do with the way things go in our society today. Where women, yatra naryastu pujante, where women are worshipped. It doesn't say honored here, but it says pujante, where they're worshipped. Right? Ramante tacha devata, then all the devatas are happy. Where women are given respect like that. Right? They're given worship like that. Yatraitas tu na pujante, where they're not given that respect, they're not given that honor, then sarvas, all tacha phala kriya. There's no phala, no fruit for any of your sacred rituals, for any of your religious acts, if you don't give respect to the ladies, because we're followers of Srimati Radharani. We put the ladies first, and Radharani is the mother of the universe. So chanti janmayo yatra vinashyat yasu tu tat kulam naso chanti tu yatraita vardate tadhi sarvada. Where the ladies in the family, so chanti janmayo, where they're unhappy, where they're not being treated nicely, that family, ashutat kulam, that kula, not just a family, but their whole line is destroyed. And nasochanti, where they're happy, that family prospers. That society, where the ladies are not happy, everything is destroyed. And where they're happy, everything becomes very, very good. Is this important, Govinda? Okay. She said it's important. And it said in particular, let's see, there's another nice verse. Oh, here it is. Tasmat eta sada puja. So if men want their own welfare, then sada puja. Puja means respect. Puja also means worship. If men want their own welfare, then they should always respect women. And how? Bhusana chadanasanai. They should give them respect on holidays and festivals. And how? Bhuti kama naraya nityam sat kadeshu saveshu cha. You should give them nice clothes. Buy them a new sari, buy them some new clothes. It's important, really. And that's Vedic culture. At every festival, they would give things to the ladies like that. And they would give them some new ornaments, clothes, and the third thing, which is very important, give them sweets. They like that also. So this is Vedic culture. And this is Krishna's words to Uddhava. Uddhava, everything in Braj smells like my mother. I can't stop thinking about my mother. I'm so attached to my mother. Krishna's mother is there directly or indirectly in all of Krishna's pastimes. Such a very, very important personality. So I'm going to stop there, and I want to thank the devotees online. Oh gosh, there's quite a few devotees. Sanjay, Jai Trivedi, Bhaskar, Lavanamai, let's see, Brajendra Kumar Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Subal Sham, Pushkarakshi Prabhu, our dear God brother, my pranams Prabhu, Subal Sham, Mahendra Prabhu, my pranams, another God brother, Sri Thakur Prabhu from St. Petersburg, the mafia in St. Petersburg, he's watching, and Jagannath Das Prabhu, Sushant Bhattacharya, Mohanavali, Manikundala, my God sister, Hare Krishna, my pranams, Achyutananda Prabhu is watching also from Agar, and Jayadev Prabhu watching from the East Coast in America, Neela Kamala Prabhu and Srijan Sain, Lalita Dasi, Romavani, Vishnu Priya, Hare Krishna, Natalia, she says, Natalia offers a reflection here. She says, Hare Krishna, my humble pranams. This is so sweet that Mother Yashoda hears the flute of Krishna all the time. And that's how she knows that everything is okay. Thank you for making the differences between appearance of Krishna from the mind to the mind and from the heart to the heart. Also from mentioning about the professional learners of Bhakti Shastri. And Amsumati is also watching, our dear Amsumati, who's a professional teacher in Moscow. Nice sunny warm Moscow. And Ujjvala Rasiga Mataji, my pranams. Bhagavat Purana Prabhu, my pranams to you. Brajendra Kumar says, Hare Krishna, Madhavana Prabhu. So if anybody online has any reflections, we can read those out. Otherwise, we're going to ask the devotees here in the room, what are you walking away with today? Anything that you like today? Govinda, you have something?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you come over here and you can talk into the little mic so they can hear you. I don't have to repeat everything. That's the mic there, yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Ru, for the class. The last point was very nice about the Vedic culture. So I must say that's a very interesting remark about the society's reflection. You didn't leave it in the air. You made it very clear that how it is. That was very nice. I appreciate that. And I was thinking about one comment you made about dramatic performances. Because just yesterday I'm reading the Uddhava Gita. So Krishna is talking to Uddhava on another occasion. And he says that Krishna is telling Uddhava, that whoever engages in singing, remembering my glories, and also in acting dramatic performances, they attain pure devotional service to me. And I was like, what? Like in the verse, I thought it was so relevant to have that. It's a very special service, and the class is wonderful.
We gave some kathas some time back about Radhikashtakam. And one of the verses is speaking about how Radharani is she's the source of all the arts. And we spoke something about the source of all the arts. It's a big topic. It would take actually we could make a whole seminar for several days out of it about the arts. And how all the arts originate with the Ras Leela. And they begin with rag. Krishna's blowing his flute. Shriman Rasadasadam Bivam Sivatatatasida. And all the gopis become attracted by that. And they go running there. And that running is not actually running, it's nitya, it's dance. And they go running there, and then Sangeet comes. There's some song. And there's decoration of the kunj, there's paintings being made, there's makeup being put on the ladies, there's dress, there's all the different arts are there. They're cooking very nice things. And even it's described by Kavi Karnapur and Nanda Vrindavan Champu, that it is, by in another book called Vaidagya Vilas by Manohar Das, that after they're dancing for a long time, they take bath in the river, and then there's some stand-up comedy. And Madhu Mangal does his things, and there's all the different arts are there. But all those arts culminate in the final conclusion of the Ras Leela when Krishna disappears from the Ras Leela. And then the gopis become unmadana, they become mad. And what did they do? That's the introduction of drama. They begin to act out the pastimes of Krishna. And Kavi Karnapur in Ananda Vrindavan Champu says at that time, Krishna enters their bodies. And this is perhaps the source of our tradition in Braj drama, where the actors who are playing Radha and Krishna, they're worshipped by the audience after the drama, because it's considered that Radha and Krishna directly entered into them. So that out of all the different arts, drama is the best. Because within drama you have everything. You have music, you have dance, you have singing. If it's a traditional drama, you have paintings, you have makeup, you have all the different arts are there. Thank you for that. Anybody else with a reflection this morning? Who's here? Nari, did you have anything you walked away with? You want to come up here and take the mic, please? Speak in it. Here.
Okay. What touched me is like when in this bhajan, this Yadava Prabhu, it's like this is Mamata, yes, Krishna is mine.
Yes.
And it's like such deep relationships actually. And I have a small question. It touched me also that in Raj everything is moved by heart, and in Dwarka and Mathura is like by jnana and knowledge. And I'm meeting like many devotees, and I can divide them by two parts. Some of them saying me, oh, you need to guide yourself by your heart. You need to listen to your heart, and like everything should be by your heart. But other of them saying, no, it's Maya. You shouldn't hear to your heart because it's Maya. It's completely Maya. Actually, mostly it was like in Russia. Devotees were saying me, no, don't listen to your heart because it's Maya. But here I meet so many deep, nice, sweet devotees who are saying me that you should listen to your heart. And could you clarify this?
Yeah.
At which point could we listen to our heart?
Do we have a choice? We don't have a choice. That's what Jiva Goswami says. You have no choice. You have to follow your heart. But some people's heart is more mechanical. And more, their hearts, oh, I can't do that. I can't read those books. I can't hear that kind of katha, that they become disturbed by that. And I have to follow all these rules and regulations. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes that this is this particular type of shraddha. What does he call it? He says there's Paramarthik shraddha, Bhagavat Lila Madhurya Lubhamoy shraddha is one, and the other type of shraddha is, it's not coming to my mind, shraddha which is governed by Shastra, and it's symptomized by fear. I have to read the books and I have to do everything that Shastra says, otherwise I'm going to go to hell. And you can't listen to your heart because you'll become a sahajiya, because they don't have faith. But you don't have any choice, because it's our heart which brings us to wherever we are. Jiva Goswami describes this in Bhakti Sandarbha. He says, but some people's heart is covered with dirt, and so they can only hear certain things. And some people's heart, their level of faith is molded in a certain hard way where they can only trust rules and regulations. And therefore, Chaita means the heart. The first thing is Chaito Darpana Marjana. We have to cleanse that heart with the chanting of the holy name. And then we'll be able to hear the proper voice. Because really, we have no choice. Everybody's going to listen to what their heart says. And Jiva Goswami says some people listen to they're attracted by nonsense sadhus. He quotes a verse from Brahma Vivarta Purana, which says that why is it some people attracted to nonsense sadhus, bogus shastra, bogus ideas? Because their heart's dirty. You can't help it. You're going to get the wrong message. So our first thing is we have to purify the heart. But your friends have some good point. It's not just we should just become sentimental, like a lot of devotees from Russia sometimes say, I had a dream and Mother Yashoda came to me and it was amazing. And they're thinking so many things like that. So we need to, if we have a dream or something, then we should go to a Brahmin or some sadhu and ask, well, I have this idea, we should have it confirmed by someone outside, but someone that we trust. And who is it we're going to trust? How do we trust someone? It's from the heart. We have no choice. So it's a little bit cyclic.
Thank you.
Ujjwala Rasiga Mataji says, Pranams Prabhuji, would you comment and elaborate on Srila Prabhupada's comment that men are more intelligent than women? That's a fact. My teenage daughters have trouble understanding it and question, what if the same facilities are given both men and women in Vedic education? Well, this is a subtle topic. First of all, if women are less intelligent, then why is it that there's more women, Prabhupada says, who go to the temple and worship Krishna than men, if women are less intelligent? What does it mean? We have to think a little deeply. My understanding of this thing, which I can only offer, is that less intelligent means materially in some ways, because women by nature are more sentimental. And men are ruled more by reason and logic. You can, if you don't believe me, you can Google a YouTube video called It's Not the Nail. Just Google It's Not the Nail.
Oh yeah.
And there's a very, very funny video. There's a woman, she's crying, and her husband's trying to listen to her and talking. And she says, I just had this headache for so long, and it's just been a terrible headache. And she turns, and you can see there's a nail stuck in her head. And he said, well, did you ever think it might be because of the nail? And she gets really, it's not because of the nail. You're always trying to tell me it's because of the nail. Will you stop and you just listen to me? Because women are ruled by emotion. And she just wants someone to listen. And he's saying, if you just take the nail out, you just quit speaking like that. So in this sense, 100% definitely men are more intelligent than women. But what is real intelligence? And who rules intelligence? It's Saraswati, who's an expansion of Srimati Radharani. So that feminine intelligence comes from women. Women have more spiritual intelligence than men, in the sense that they're more devoted to the Lord. But in a social sense, men, they have this false ego, I know, and they like to be in charge. And so women, they say, oh, you're so handsome, and you're so intelligent, and you do things so... Yes, that's right, that's good. And it gives him some strength to do things. And he has more intelligence materially for that. This is my humble understanding. Anybody else have a reflection they want to share real quick? You have something? Can you come up here and take the mic? I'm sorry. Otherwise I have to repeat everything you said.
My reflections were
Okay.
pretty much the same as everyone else's, you know. A little bit clarity, I think, on the which point was it? That it's lost my mind now.
Okay.
I've forgotten it.
That's okay.
It was
That's
there, but I was listening.
Anybody else want to have something? Prabhuji? Want to take that, please?
I really like that point, like the real essence of our material assets and propensities. When you were saying, like, from the Brahma, I didn't get the name, but anyway, like desires are like thieves,
Yes.
right? The house
The
is like a
Brahma's
prison,
Yeah.
and what do you say, that like so-called love is actually like for like in between relationships, it's shackles of lust,
Yeah.
right? If somebody is not a devotee.
Yeah.
So I really like that point. That was like, wow, really
Yeah.
broken.
I'll tell you something else too. It's an easy verse to read. It's not such an easy verse to live. we have to work at it. And just like the brahmacharis and sannyasis, they also have some austerity. Being a grihastha also means we have the austerity of hearing and chanting. But it's a nice austerity. And we focus on hearing and chanting together. Do you have anything, Prabhuji, you want to share? Okay. Anupayani, you want to conclude? Any reflection you have? Just talk into the mic, please.
Yeah, Krishna, thank you so much for the class. I know that you could say even more about mother's love.
Yeah.
You wanted to say more, but the time is limited. But I just wanted to say that it was so nice to hear in more details how motherhood originated from Mother Yashoda. All these details. You should stay in the shade. I go with you, and things like this. It's really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Your mother's like that too, right? She's chastising you.
She used to
You're
like
not cleaning your clothes properly. You're not doing this and that, and out of love. We love our mothers. So we better stop here. We're so late. I'm very sorry. Usually we try to finish before 9. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. We're going to be back again. What day is today? Today is Wednesday. We'll be back again on Friday. Thank you all very much.